Hi, YouTubers. Welcome back. I have a very special video for you guys today. I actually have two videos because I have my wonderful mother-in-law here, and she is going to be showing me how to make Nova Scotia chow, and together we're also going to make mustard relish, but that'll be for the second video. So I would like to introduce my mother-in-law. This is Liz. Say hi, Liz.
Hi.
All my YouTubers.
Hi, everyone.
She's going to be just showing me how to make chow today. Okay, so that's what we're making. It's a Nova Scotia recipe, favorite for Nova Scotians, and we're going to try and make it today. And she is the expert on this, so she knows what it's supposed to taste like and how it's supposed to turn out. So let's hope it turns out. We are making both these videos in one weekend because I only have her here for the weekend. So you can see we've already started the process, but we'll go through the whole thing. We're just waiting for it to finish cooking. So let's get to it, and we are going to show you guys how to make Nova Scotia. What is it, green chow or just chow?
Chow.
Yes. Nova Scotia chow.
It is green chow because we use green tomatoes.
Okay. So it'll be green chow. Let's go and make it. We were really lucky to have such a beautiful weekend to be making this chow. So what we did, first thing in the morning, once we were up and had a little breakfast and some coffee, we went out to the garden. I got to show my mother-in-law all the tomato plants that were growing and everything else I was growing in the garden as well. But she loved how many tomatoes there were. And they're all green right now, which is perfect for making chow. So her and I went out and picked a whole bunch of them. We got my sister-in-law to record the video for us, and I got to show her around the garden. So it was a really nice time, and now we're going to take these tomatoes and we're going to go and turn them into chow. All right, so the first thing we did when we brought our tomatoes in the house is we washed them, and then we counted them. We had about 16 tomatoes in different sizes. She suggested like around 12 is a good number, but because we had all different sizes, 16 is what we ended up with. All right, so she explained to me that a lot of people, when they make their chow, will slice the tomatoes. She prefers having them done in little chunks. It's just something that she's always enjoyed. She just doesn't care for the sliced ones. So because this is her recipe and she's teaching me how to make it, we're going to cut all of these tomatoes into chunks, and then we're going to put them in a large stock pot. All right, so the next step is to chop up 1 to 1.5 pounds of onions. We ended up with, I think, about 1.5 pounds. So just chop them up into chunks, just like you did with the green tomatoes. They don't have to be too small. They are going to cook down. And then try not to cry while you're doing this, because onions always make you cry. And if anybody gives you suggestions on how to not cry while doing this, the best one I have heard yet is that they can do it while you watch. Works really well for getting people out of your kitchen. All right, so take all your onions, mix them in with your green tomatoes, and do it by hand, because then it gives you a chance to break up any large pieces of the onion. Yeah, that's it. Just mix it all together, and then we'll go on to the next step. All right, so in this step, we mixed about 1/4 cup of pickling salt with about 1 or 2 cups of water. We mixed that up first, and then we poured it over top of the tomatoes and the onions. It wasn't quite enough, so what we did is we just sprinkled on some more salt, added a little bit more water, sprinkled on some more salt, added some more water, and it ended up being about 1/2 cup of pickling salt in total that we added, and 3, maybe 4 cups of water. We didn't completely submerge these. We just wanted the water and the salt to help draw out any other moisture from the tomatoes and the onions. So once you've added your salt and your water, just mix them up a little bit, and then you're going to take a plate, place it over top, squish it down the best that you can, and you're going to leave this sit overnight. All right, so we are on day 2 of making our green chow, and we're going to make our own pickling spice. Now, I don't fully recommend this. I would say go buy the pickling spice. It'll just make everything so much quicker and easier to do. So, if you're making it though, here's what we did. We added 5 crushed bay leaves into a bowl, and then we added 3 teaspoons of peppercorns, 2 teaspoons of mustard seeds, 1 teaspoon of celery seed, a half a teaspoon of ground allspice, although if you have whole allspice, it's going to be way better, and a teaspoon of coriander, which we did not add because I threw it all out because I think it's disgusting. So I probably shouldn't have thrown it out, but I really didn't think I was ever going to use it again. All right, so make your own. You might have to double this if you are making the chow and you taste it and you feel like there's not enough seasoning in it, then double this recipe and put extra in. So you're not just dumping the seasoning in. We are putting it into a tea bag and we're going to let it mix in, I guess. Steep, yeah, just like tea, you're steeping it. Even with the actual spice mix, it tells you to put it into like some cheesecloth and tie it off and then put it in. And then once the chow is cooked, you take them out. So that's what we're doing. We're making our own pickling spice. We're going to put it in some tea bags. And then as it's cooking, we're going to put the tea bags in the chow and let it all steep together. All right, it's time to get this cooking. So you're going to take your pot of tomatoes and onions and you're going to drain it. And you're going to rinse them off really well. You don't want them to be too salty from soaking in the salt all evening, all night. And squish out as much water as you can. Use a plate, use a bowl, whatever you want. Try and squeeze out as much water as you can, and then put it all back in the pot. Okay, turn your stovetop on, and you're going to start cooking your tomatoes and onions. You're also going to mix together 3 cups of pickling vinegar with 4 cups of sugar. Of course, I have that little plus one more. That's because as it was cooking down, my mother-in-law had tasted it, and it wasn't sweet enough. The vinegar was still a little too strong, so she added another cup. So for a total of 5 cups of sugar in your green chow. Mix that all together, let it cook down. We also ended up adding another batch of the pickling spice. It just wasn't coming through enough, so we did end up doubling it and putting another bag of spice in and letting it cook some more. Once it was completely cooked down, after, I'm going to say, we let this thing cook for a good hour or more. Now we're going to go get our jars ready. So this time, we took all the lids, we put them in some boiling water, and they are going to sit on our stovetop. The jars, we washed them first, then we put them in a cold oven, and we heated the jars in the oven up together until it reached a temperature of 225 degrees Fahrenheit. Then we're only taking out 2-3 jars at a time to work with, while the others stay in the oven so they stay hot and they stay sterilized. All right, so I started to pour the chow into the jars and felt like it was making a mess, so I went and got a funnel instead, and this is going to make it so much easier. This is my first time ever using this funnel. I always make a mess, and today I am not making a mess. All right, so fill your jars, and you want to fill them till they're almost to the top. I would say like, I don't know, a couple centimeters from the top, maybe like 1/4 of an inch from the top. You're going to take a lid, give it a little shake so it's not too wet, which as you're pulling it out, they're so hot that they dry almost instantly. Put your lid on top of your jar and just, you're going to put the ring on and just hand tighten it. It doesn't have to be super tight, just hand tightened. And you're going to repeat this process until all your chow is in jars. Once they are all in the jars, then you're going to just set them on your counter and let them all completely cool down, and you will hear them popping. The lids will start popping, and that means each one is sealing and becoming shelf stable. And that's it. That is how you make green chow, and you can it, and you preserve it so that it is good to eat all winter. Okay, so end of video 1. What did we say? We're making chow. Right, video 1 was chow. So the whole recipe, by the time we were done and we have it all jarred, it made 6 of these little mini jars, and then it made 4 of these bigger jars. It would have made 7 of those big jars, which are 500 milliliters each. So it made quite a bit of, it made a lot of it.
It did.
It made a lot.
Big size batch.
So this is one of her specialties, okay? Do you want to tell us about it? You have a really nice story about your chow.
Yes, I've been making it for several years now. And my sister loves it. I have to give it to her every year for her birthday.
Yes.
And it is my best friend, Diane. It was her recipe. And she taught me how to make it.
That's really nice of her. And now you get to keep making it.
Yes.
In her memory, of course.
Yes, it's in her memory.
Yeah. So I love the story. And Diane, I knew Diane. She's such a wonderful person, and she was definitely a very good cook.
Yes.
So you get to taste it.
I taste it and
see how it actually turned out.
No.
And you're testing it while it's still warm.
Yes. You can't really tell until it's set for several days.
Mm-hmm. So at least a good 48 hours. And
yes. It's a little tart, but
okay.
When that, I usually keep mine sweet, but a lot of people like it tart.
Do they? Okay. And we put a lot of sugar in it. We did.
Yes. Yeah, it has a fair amount of sugar to compensate for all the vinegar that's in it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good recipe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a really good recipe. I'm glad you got to teach it to me because I've never made it.
Right.
And I had so many tomatoes in the garden, which I think is in this video. I think I'm going to put it in the video, or I did put it in the video.
A picture of your garden?
Yeah, the garden. And Janine had taken a little video of us picking the tomatoes, so that's in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really.
There's
really
a lot.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of tomatoes. So this was fantastic to make something so different other than pasta sauces and stuff. So it's a good choice for tomatoes before they turn red.
Yes, I enjoy doing that in the fall. It's something you really can put your time and heart into. Yes.
It's a good fall recipe that you can use all winter now.
Yes.
So
that's
great. Yeah. So like she said, let it sit for a couple days. The longer you let it sit, the better it's going to become because the flavors will really infuse themselves. You can't really taste it while it's hot, but it turned out good, right?
Yes, we did
good.
Yes,
okay.
So,
I'm not a big fan because I really, really don't like onions. That's why I'm not sampling it. I'm trusting that it turned out right because she's the expert.
And we hope that the dog's husband and my son, Ashley, will enjoy it.
That's right. Hopefully he will enjoy this. He was really looking forward to us making it. Mm-hmm. So that is it for today's video. Now I remember saying that I have 2 videos made in one weekend. So that is the green chow. Next one is the mustard relish. Okay, so we will see you guys all next week for the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to hit the like, subscribe, notification bell. I am really, really close to hitting 1,000 subscribers. So hit that button, please. Thank you so much for coming and being here for the weekend. Thank you.
I loved it.
Me too. Yeah. I love cooking with family, so this has been really great. All right, that's it. And we will see you guys for the next video.